everybody, good afternoon, Mixed Media Monday. I'm excited to have a play today. That's Alfie's phone going off. Turn it off, Alfie. It's had a hard day at work. So when he got home I said, do you want a coffee or do you want a beer? He's drinking a beer. And it's only Monday. Really good to see you all. Thanks everybody for waiting to come on live. Yes, we've got a lovely giveaway for you, so thank you very much for joining us. If you enjoy what you see, please comment and share, and you are in with the chance of winning one of 4 prizes. Each of the prizes is a £25 gift voucher, which you can spend on our indigoblue.com website. So 4 people will win, and they'll each win £25. Just comment and share. Okay, so today, what are we doing? Okay, I've really enjoyed working with Asia stamps, and I just can't put them down at the moment. So I'm going to do a really simple, like a beginner's journal page or card, whichever you want to do. Just so that you might want to just dip your toe in, because sometimes people say, oh, it looks really great but it looks complicated, but if you break it down it's really quite straightforward. But today I'm going to do something super simple for you, and you can have a little play and join me. So if you want to come down, this is what I'm using today. Here we go. Lovely, thank you, Alfie. So we have some pink fold watercolour card. We have the Be Different stamps by Asia, and like all of our stamps, they are already mounted on a cling, and they are cut out for you by our lovely die. And that's a person, not a die through a die cutting. So I know it's confusing. So they are already done for you. These are on an A6 size stamp plate, and they are gorgeous. They're really deep etched. So I don't know whether you can see how deep those are. They're just beautiful.
Sarah's just asked how they know who's won.
How do you know who's won? Well, we always put it on our Facebook page the day after, don't we? Is it the day after?
Yes.
Yeah. It's tomorrow when it's drawn, and of course, obviously we put your name, so it'll pop up,
contact them,
and we'll also contact you directly as well. So we do that every single week. We usually have a giveaway or a prize every Monday, and so we advertise that the following day. And if you look on my Facebook page, Kay Hallowell Sutton, I have actually announced all of our random act of kindness winners as well. So we're also going to be using our lovely collector's edition number 49, which is the Matrix, and this is from Asha's collection. I adore this stamp. It is amazing. I'm using some Onyx Black VersaFine. I'm just using one of the little thank yous here. This is part of a bigger stamp, but I'm just using the thank you bit, and this is from Be Yourself, which is an A5 set, obviously well loved. It's got some fantastic words on this. That's tasteless, inappropriate and totally hilarious. Sometimes the smallest things take the most room in your heart. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. Thank you for simply being you, constant in friendship, unfailing in kindness, and lots of other lovely things like borders and stuff like that, and a badass woman there. Okay, so
Di's watching.
Di's watching. Di. Yay! Hi Di, darling. Hope you're good. It was good to hear that you came out the other day. So yay! Hopefully soon we'll have you back in at work, and you never know, in a few months' time we might even be able to hug. So I'm also using 4 translucent dies. No, I'm not. I'm using 4 translucent indigo blue paints. Got dye on the brain now. So we have daffodil, tiger lily, red hot chili and fresh cut grass. Okay, so, and a couple of brushes and some water.
Just briefly explain what the paints are, because there's a few new people on.
Okay, so there's quite a few new people on. So I'm just going to talk about our paints very, very quickly. So whilst I get ready. So our paints are a really, really special blend, because when we started with our paints, it took us quite a few years to get exactly what I wanted, because I couldn't, you know, when I first started crafting, I couldn't afford all these different paints, all these lovely ones for fabric and different mixed media ones and everything like that. So I actually wanted to make a paint that could do lots of different things. So I went to a paint manufacturer and had a chat with their chemist and said, listen, could we possibly make something that will do everything? And they were like, well, yeah, I suppose so, but why would you? Because you won't sell many other paints apart from the one. But here we have it. It's highly, highly concentrated. You only need a tiny bit. In fact, that's probably a little bit too much. So I'm just going to put a little bit back. So this paint will actually go onto, it's a true fabric paint. So you can actually wash it at 40 degrees. It will go onto card, mixed media, plastic, metal, all different surfaces basically. And this particular one is translucent, which means that you can actually see through it. It still has the colour, but you can actually see what's going on underneath it. We also have a range of matte, which is opaque, or you might call them chalky. We also have a range of beautiful, beautiful metallics as well. So I'm just going to leave those there so you can see them. I have got a little bit of green in my orange there and in my yellow, but I don't think that matters too much.
Yeah, Petra says, didn't know it was for fabric too, so just...
Yeah, it is for fabric as well. It looks brilliant on fabric. Have I got anything in the studio? Let me just grab this bag at the back. I think if you can just go back to the shot of me. Here we go. So, okay, sorry about the sun in the... So here we go. There we are. So this is all made with our paints. So we've used matte and we've used translucent on there, and we've wet the bag, and this is a really heavyweight canvas as well. We've actually stamped with it, we've coloured with it, and we've also painted with it as well. So you can see, so it will dye all of your ribbons, your lace, and it doesn't make it stiff at all. It's really, really soft and smooth, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And even though those paints have been really, really diluted and they've been put on extremely wet, you can still see the vibrancy of the colours. And it's absolutely blooming brilliant. I love it. It's such a fantastic paint that you've got to try it. Even if you look at the top here, you can see the opaque ones at the top as well, and you can also obviously, you know, paint the flowers over the top. Lovely. It's really gorgeous. Okay, back down here. So as I say, you can wash that at 40 degrees, no problem at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a DL piece of card. So this could be for your journal, or it could be a DL card, and I'm just going to paint some circles. So this is a really great exercise. So you won't be able to see terribly well. Maybe if I dirty my water a little bit, you might be able to see it a little bit better. Let me just dirty some of my water, and then maybe you might be able to see it. Just bear with. Okay, so I'm just going to do some circles just with water, and I'm using a round brush. This is a number 8. So, and the lovely thing about using a watercolour card, this is Pink Frog, we have this on the website as well, is where you wet it, that's where the paint will go.
Pauline's just asked, what does DL mean?
Oh, Pauline's just asked, what does DL mean? It's just the size of the paper. Basically, it's an A4 sheet cut into thirds. So if I get an A4 sheet out for you, there you have it. So an A4 sheet, and you cut it into 3 sections, and that is basically a DL size, and you can get envelopes to match, which is normally an office size actually, but there is quite a growing trend going for DL shaped stamps and shaped artwork at the moment, and I've always liked this sort of this shape and size. So I'm just going over a few little areas there. And then what I'm also going to do is this paint, yes, I've put I am a paint mat. So I also use one of our paint mats. They're really cheap. And the reason why they're really cheap is they are recycled from our stamp production. So this is what comes with our rubber to keep it from sticking together. And it's amazing as a paint mat, but also it's incredible for using with resin or anything that's sticky, like you want to make skins or you want to use it for clay, anything like that at all, it works really, really well. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding loads and loads of water.
Maisie's just asked, can you paint straight onto fabric or do you need a medium?
Maisie's just asked, can you paint straight onto fabric or do you need a medium? No, you don't need a medium at all because they are a true fabric paint. You can go straight on. Because our paints are very concentrated though, I would add water. You can go straight on with a really straight from the pot, but to be honest, I would add a little bit of water for you, and it would make it easier to work it. So I'm adding loads of water to this, and I'm using the daffodil first, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit of tiger lily. So you can see it mixes up really quite nicely. And whilst it's still wet, I'm just going to bring it round. Oh, nice big hair in the way. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, I'm just going to bring it round that edge a little bit just to give it a bit of shadow on that side. And then the lovely thing about it is it's just going to mix and merge in with that colour there. I'm then going to move on to the next one. And this is, you don't have to draw circles or anything, and if they're a little bit off, that's absolutely fine. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a nice little exercise just to get you into the mood of using acrylics as a watercolour medium. Well, ours at least, because they work really, really well, especially when you've got lots of water in and you get that lovely translucence. So I think Alfie's got another question for me.
Yeah, so Susan's just asked where she can buy the mats from.
Okay, Susan, you can buy the paint mats from us at indigoblue.com.
If you just search for paint mats on
If
our
you just
website.
search for paint mats on our website. I don't know whether you can actually hear Alfie when he talks. Can you let me know whether you can hear Alfie when he's talking? I don't think they can. No, he says. He's a little bit camera shy.
Excuse me.
Bless
Might have
you.
heard that.
So you can see I'm just putting a little bit more on that while it's still wet. Okay.
Maisie says yes, you can hear me.
Maisie says yes, you can hear her.
Boo.
Okay, let's go for one here. And this is just so lovely and mindful. It's just really, really nice just to relax and what you're
Everybody's
giggling
commenting
at.
that they can hear me now.
All these months, Alfie, I've just been repeating everything that you
exactly.
say.
Just like normal.
That's only because I can't hear you. He does take the rip that I don't listen or I'm deaf, one or the other. And I'm not saying anything in case I, you know.
Maureen can hear me all the way from Italy. Silence.
Absolute silence now. I was waiting for you to say something else. Thought you were going to say something else then.
No.
We had a Zoom call last night with a load of friends, and they were all making pizzas, by hand. We decided we didn't want pizza on a Sunday, so we had our usual Sunday lunch. Sat there eating our Yorkshire pudding and everything. Okay, so I'm just coming in with that tiger lily.
Yeah, Ellen says selective hearing.
It is selective hearing. That's what my family say. You've got to learn to turn off, haven't you? Complete and utter silence.
Selective hearing.
Oh dear. Okay, so let's have a final one here, shall we?
Noala thought it was sweet that you were always repeating me.
As if I was interpreting. Alfie speaking to English. I just think it's mean that none of you ever told me. You just let me do it for months on end. Oh dear. So I'm going into my red hot chili now, and it's still pretty wet. And then I'm going to just come in around the edge here and letting that just sink in as well. It might need a little bit of help with a bit more water, but you do need to do it whilst it is still wet, or make the red hot chili wet, because once it's completely dry, it is actually set. What are you laughing at? What they're saying now?
Pastor says you never asked.
Yeah, never. I never asked her that.
And Christine says they're all too polite.
That's so not fair. What else are you not telling me? No. Do I really want you to answer that? I don't know. That's so unfair. Where are the dogs? It's very quiet.
Ella took them for a walk.
Oh, Ella's taking them for a walk. Okay. Okay, so this is red hot chili. Is my head in the way? Sorry, no, it's not. And the lovely thing is that, as I said earlier, once it's set, that's it. It won't be you can't re-wet it and get it moving again, which is a great advantage of acrylic paints, that you can just.
So Brenda's asked, are mulberry bush and lemon meringue translucent or matte? Big
Both.
tubs of labelled matte. That's probably because it was before we brought out translucent.
No, mulberry bush has always been translucent.
No, but it's got matte on the label.
Wrong label then. Sorry about that. And what was the other colour? Mulberry
Lemon
bush
meringue.
and lemon meringue. Lemon meringue is matte, because the daffodil is the translucent one. Mulberry bush is definitely translucent, because I use it all the time.
Yeah, it's on the website as translucent, so it is.
Yeah, we've got the label wrong on that. I do apologise. It happens from time to time. We're only human.
Yeah, the new label does say translucent, so.
Yeah, it must have been one of the first labels made.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm quite liking that. That's good. And when it's dry, it could look like that, but I'm just going to leave that to one side for now. Just pop it there. I'm just going to do a bit of stamping. Let's use that as a bigger piece. Okay, so let's go with these lovely flower heads.
So David's
or
asked
circles.
about if the paint dries on the paint mat, can it be removed, or do you have to throw the mat away?
When the paint dries, you can actually easily remove it. That's the beauty of it, that nothing seems to stick to it apart from our gesso, which shows how good the gesso is. But no, it's really brilliant. It just washes straight off, even when it's dry. even if it's big blobs of it. If it needs a bit of help, I just use an old credit card just to scrape it off. But it's great because if you want to make skins out of Slap It On, it just peels straight off. And the same with polymer clay and air dry clay and everything. It works really well. And resin, brilliant for resin. I can actually do, you know, open shapes on it, seal it, and it comes straight off. It's really good. So I'm going to use
Anne's asked where can she get a sprayer like you've got?
a sprayer. This one was a Tonic one, so this came from Tonic. But we will have. Oh, we've run out of the bulb ones, haven't we?
Yeah, they don't do them anymore.
Yeah, they've stopped manufacturing those bulb-shaped ones, which is a shame because I really liked those.
Shortly.
But we are going to have, always giving it away. It's giving away all the secrets.
No one said anything. They can't hear me.
Okay, they're all going, what was it? Yes, we are going to have airless ones very, very soon. And they are going to be so cool. I'm just really, really, really excited about them. So excited. I might show you them at some stage. So those are my little flower heads. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Aren't they lovely? Don't you just adore them? I think what we'll do is also, I've actually done, where has it gone now? There it is. So I've also taken the thank you from here because I just really like that. So all I do with this is I get a post-it note, and if I can't find a post-it note, I just get a piece of my recycled printer paper and I just lay it over there. I then ink that up. Remove that and just check that it hasn't touched any of the tops of here. And then that's going to be stamped on there. And then you've got a lovely thank you. I really, really like those little tiny leaves as well. They work really nicely. So let's bring a couple of these in. So I'm going into a really small paintbrush now. This is a number 1, and I'm just going to use the same colours. What should we go for?
Linda's asked what black ink are you using? What
black ink? I've used the Versafine. I really like this because it's waterproof when it's dry. So for example, I've left these to dry and cut them out, but that one I would give a blast of a heat gun just so that you don't smudge it, because it's an oil-based one, so it takes a little bit to dry. But it's brilliant because it shows up all those tiny, tiny lines and those little dots there as well. So I'm just going to put some colour on here. And in natural fact, if I bring in another colour as well, let me just paint one of these and I'll show you what a little demo of translucent can do. So let me just scoot that all over there. Let that dry in a minute. Okay, so this is on super smooth, but this is watercolour, so you can see it reacts a little bit nicer on watercolour. Oh, I think this might be super smooth. No, it's watercolour. Okay, and then let's get some orange on here as well. Any more questions? Everyone happy?
Yeah.
So I love these circles. Oh, there's another question. Sorry.
From Jenny, thinking of starting journaling, but a bit scared of how to even start. What type or size of journal would you suggest?
I would say go for one that you feel comfortable with, one that you really like the look of. one that the paper's really good quality, so it's worth...
You can just work a bit higher up the table.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I tend to do that. Find one that's got really, really good quality paper. That's really important, because you're not going to get the results if you're using cheap paper. It's just going to frustrate you and you're going to give up. So invest in a decent one. I mean, lots of us have multiple ones, but to be honest, just start off with one. I started off with this one, which is a Strathmore. I like the format of it. They're not too big, and it tends to fit my style quite nicely. I've just started this new one off this year, but a square one's quite good as well, because it's quite easy to do a square when you're working out where to put things, basically. And I'd probably start off with whatever size you're comfortable with. Smaller is easier to fill in, whereas, you know, big can be a little bit daunting, I would say, at times. So that's a Strathmore one. That's got really excellent paper in it, really good quality. I don't know whether we've got any left. We did have them on special offer, but we can't get any at the moment because it's super expensive for in America. But these were they were about 30 quid, and we were doing them for about 20, something like that. Also, what you could do is you could actually just buy yourself some nice watercolour card. This is from Pink Frog. I would highly recommend this. It's a nice quality. It actually is great to work on. It's smooth to stamp on, and then you can actually just cut them all to the same size, and then you can bind them afterwards, which is also another nice thing to do. And then you don't have to worry about, oh, well, what if I don't like a page? If you don't like a page, either you rip it out or you paint over it with gesso. Because a lot of these, I do actually take some of the pages out, because I tend to, because I'm demonstrating, I tend to work on a separate piece of card and then I stick them in afterwards. It's just because I'm demonstrating all the time and I can't be flipping between pages all the time. So that's a Strathmore one. I think we might have a couple of these left, which are gorgeous. These are,
and the 7x5s, I think.
We've got a 7x5 one and this small square one, and this is lovely. This comes with a Hessian cover, and with this one you get Hessian pages, you get handmade cotton rag paper pages, and you also get craft pages as well. Craft card is that sort of nice brown card, and you also get some fine cotton pages as well. And I think there's some, yeah, you see that's the handmade cotton page. It's absolutely gorgeous. And again, you can take the signatures out. A signature is a collection of pages that are sewn in together, so you can quite easily find, there you go, where one signature is. Clip those two pieces of cotton and you can take that signature out. It makes it a lot thinner. You can work on them separately, and I love this because you can then, if you've got bits of sewing that you do, or even if you just want to work on a separate different surface, because you can gesso these Hessians, you know, you can work on those as well. And I just think it's really nice and textural, you know, with these different pages. And that's the craft card behind there. So I've really loved doing this one, and it is quite a treasure. And it's so easy with it having to be, with it being a really small square. It works so well. And as I say, you don't have to go chronologically order from one all the way through to the end, because a lot of us journalists just sort of zip from one page to another, depending on how we feel. And you know, we might miss out the odd. You see here where I've taken out a signature because otherwise it's not going to close at all. So I've taken quite a lot out so that I can work on them. So this is really, really lovely. And I think we have got just a handful left, that's all, of these. And again, we can't get them at the moment because we have them handmade for us in India. By a fantastic company that supports the local economy and local people. So I've loved using these, and I have quite a few actually, just because they're a favourite. So they come in that size, and they also, excuse me, sorry about this, they also come in a 7x5 size. So you can see with mine, sorry for the noise, you can see with mine that they just will not close, but I take loads of pages out. And again, you don't have to do fabric on it. I've just used these as a lovely textural background. So hopefully that will give you some ideas of what you can achieve. Yeah, so that gives you a few ideas there. Right, so I'm just finishing off some of these. You can actually put extra coats on as well. So I think I'm going to come in with the daffodil. I haven't actually done much of the daffodil, and I'm going over those areas here. And the lovely thing is that it doesn't actually cover up any of the black lines at all because it's translucent, and that's the beauty of it. And if you want to go a little bit stronger, you can do. But can you see when you actually go in straight from the pot, it's really quite thick, so you're better off, here we go, add some water, and it will be easier to paint with because they are designed to be concentrated so that a little will go a long way. Okay, so what have we got here? Red hot chili. Let's have a little bit more red on here. These areas. And what I wanted to show you also was how you can get a colour change as well. So let's just finish this off really quickly, and then I'll show you the colour change. Okay, so on here we've got a bit of red hot chili. In fact, it's very, very watered down. So let me just put another layer on. Okay. So that was red hot chili, and then I'm coming in with bluebell. Clean my brush, just dry that off a little bit. Let me just give it a blast. Okay, so a little bit of bluebell onto your paint mat, a little bit of water. There we go, because a little goes a long way. Okay, so you'd expect it to cover it because it's translucent. You'll be able to see through the colour, and you'll be able to visually mix the colours. So you're going to get this sort of lovely violet colour coming through. And it's also the same for, if I get a opaque colour, here we go, here's an opaque colour, this is Townhouse Teal. Helps if it was a clean brush, but never mind. So just imagine, say that's a leaf. And then you want to go over the top with, say, a nice mulberry bush colour. just clean my brush. Let's get a little bit of water on there. So literally, there's not even a grain of rice there. And then if you want to go over the top, you're going to get the most beautiful violet purple colour. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So you can actually see the colours underneath, and it will go over that opaque colour. So it's not mixing, it's just visually going over the top. Let's see if I do it on there. I just clean my brush, and then you can see the colour naturally. You can see it's a lovely sort of bright pink, so you can actually layer them beautifully as well, which I really, really like. So what am I doing? I digress. Okay, so I'm just finishing these off, cutting them out. And then what I'd like to show you is just a lot of people are frightened of colouring and drawing, and they say, oh, I can't actually draw. So a little exercise for you. Just going to put a little bit more yellow on there. Again, a little bit too thick. Let's get some water on there. There we are. A bit more water. And let's get some more on here. I just want that a little bit brighter. Just bear with me, guys. I know I'm faffing. Yeah, we Northerners do a lot of faffing. Okay, so there we have it. Right, let's just tidy those up 1 minute. Leave those to one side, clean my brush. Right, okay, so let me just get a clean piece of paper. Right, so where's this going to go? This is going to go round about here. So maybe this one here, and maybe this one here. Okay, and then we're going to have the thank you at the top. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, okay. Right, let's get that on, stuck on. So there we are. That one's going to be around about here, and about there. Okay, right, so, and then I'd like to put a little bit of texture around it before I start drawing. Okay, so I'm going to use this lovely number stamp. It's one of the collector's edition, and I could tell you the number of it, but I haven't got it to hand just at the second, and Alfie's had to go out. So I've got my VersaFine Claire, and this is a lovely summertime colour. So let me just give you a true look at what it is. That's gorgeous, isn't it? So I'm just going to come in here with a little bit of that, just second and third generation, so very, very faint. That's all I'm going to do with that one. And then I'm going to come in with this fab stamp. I love this one. This can be so many different things. It could be grasses, it could be, you know, raindrops, it could be anything, but it's a gorgeous texture. So this one is from Be Different. Let me just show you here. It's this stamp from Be Different from Asia. And then I'm actually going to be using the black. So with this one, I don't want to be using that heavy piece at the bottom. I just want those lovely tendrils. And can you see how fine they are? Really, really fine. And that's the beauty of red rubber. So let me just move that up a bit. There we go. So we're just going to go about there. Oh, love it. Love it. And then I'm just going to cross over a little bit more. So this is first generation, as you can see. So it's really nice and black. And the beauty of it is that you have that lovely sort of wave going across as you join them up. And it just looks blooming fabulous. Love it. Okay, I'm going to turn my card around. I'm going to have them coming from the top as well. So let's have just a little bit at the top. So just to make it look different, I'm going to start the stamp halfway across here. So it's not going to be a mirror image of that one there. So just a little tip for you to start round about there. And of course you can see I'm stamping off the card. So I just get those tendrils coming through. Okay. And again, this is where the stamp starts. I'm just going to cross over a little bit and I'm going to go a little bit higher. There you go, you can see. And then just to finish off a little bit at the end. So you can see it just waves beautifully, but it looks very, very different from the other side. Okay, let's turn it back round again to the correct way. And I just use an old cloth just to clean my stamp off. And then I've got to use that matrix stamp because I just think it's fabulous. That's if I could place where I put it. There we are. I love this. Alfie called it a matrix. Now with this, I put an arrow on it so I know which way up it is. So I only want a little bit of this going on. So I think I just need a little bit here. Now these stems are coming down, so I don't want to interfere with that. So I'm just going to bring it into about there. And then I'm going to stamp it again just a little bit further over, just quite lightly, so that you get this sort of double stamping and extra texture. And then I'm going to do a little bit over here. Round about there, and then just a little bit more down there, and I think that's enough. So can you see how I've balanced up the two diagonal corners there? Okay, let's just give that a little clean, put that back before I lose it. Okay, I think that's good. Okay. Right. Just don't want you to be able to see anything through there. There's nothing sensitive, but right. Okay. So the next thing is I'm going to use what's happened to my feed because Alfie's gone out. So if you're asking any questions, I can't actually see any at the moment. There we go. Okay, Maggie K says, I think I'm lost. Oh no. So if you have come in quite late, don't worry, because you can always rewatch this. Okay, so the next thing is I'm just going to do some basic drawing. So I'm just going to use a normal ballpoint pen, but if you've got any of these lovely micron pens, use those. Or anything that you will comfortably work on this. Just make sure that the background, that watercolour, is all completely dry. That's the main thing, okay? So we just want to put some stalks on, and don't worry if you're a little bit wobbly. Wobbly is good, okay? So I'm just going to move that out to one side and come in a little bit. So you want two lines going down here, and don't think you have to be absolutely perfect. I think wobbly is best, and of course it goes with these lovely wiggly lines here as well. And I tend to rest my hand on the paper or the table, and then I just give it a little bit of a wiggle. I try to go a little bit straight, but I do sort of give it a wiggle as well. And if I'm not on centre, I will do another one. So it's not a problem at all. And if I want to go up at the top, I can do. All right. And
sound's gone off. That's weird. It's back now.
Okay, so can everyone hear me again?
Yes, fine.
Okay, so I'll just sort of give it a little bit of a sketchy look, and then it doesn't matter if you're not straight the first time because you can just go over it again. So I want this one to come about here, so let's just wiggle it round like that, and then we're going to have a little bit in the middle there. So I also want some small ones round this thin tall one here, so let's do a couple, and it doesn't matter if they don't actually meet. See, that one was a bit skinny, so instead of doing a middle line I just went round the outside and made it a bit fatter. So, or maybe you don't like that side so much, so we're going to make that fatter, and then this one is going to go behind like so, and then I think we'll have another one up here, just a little one, so it's just really quite sketchy. And I think we'll just have one here, so that's very, very sketchy, isn't it? Well, that's good, that's all right. I think we'll go for just a little one up here. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, that's the main thing, you don't have to worry about it. And then we're just going to go around the outside with again a not so straight line, nice and wiggly, that's what I like. And you don't have to go all the way to the top because we've got all that detail here. And then just to break up the line, you might want to do a few circles, or it might be some wiggles or squiggles, whichever you want. Just do some dots. Okay. And then I actually turn it round to do the other side. I don't try working across, and if it's if you're left-handed, then do it the opposite way around. So it went off the page there, it's not a problem. Well, it's not a problem for me anyway, I don't mind it at all. And a few little squiggly dots just to break it up. Okay, and if you want to, if you think, oh, my stems aren't working, maybe they're a bit too thick, it's thin there, it's thick there, we'll just change it. So if you do like a little, what's that called, a spiral, it takes your focus away from the stem itself and you just look at the spiral. And I do that 2 or 3 times, and then you don't see it anymore. And again, if you just go over it a few times, makes it more sketchy. So it's up to you how much or how little that you do. I'm also going to put a few little dots around here because on the stamp it has actually got little dots on that I wasn't going to cut round, I tell you, because I can't be too accurate. So I'm just going to put a few more dots around the edges of my circles, and I'm just going to sketch around the outside as well. So as I say, this is just an ordinary uniball pen that you get from the stationers. I think we buy these because Alfie likes them, and they're also, you always get them on special offer when the kids are going back to school. From the supermarket you can get a pack of 3. So this is just a uniball micro by Mitsubishi Pencil Company, black, but it's just a normal sort of gel writing pen. But as I say, use what you've got. If it works, why worry? Okay, so nearly there. Let's get a small brush. Let's wet this lovely fresh green down. So this is, oops, this one here. It's translucent again, and it's fresh cut grass. Let's get plenty of water on that. And remember, this is translucent, so the lovely thing is it's not going to cover up any of your mark making at all.
Move the card up a little bit.
Sorry, beg your pardon. I keep going, zipping down. And I'm just going to put one coat on to begin with, and then if I want it a little bit darker, I can put another coat on. But I quite like the fact that it's quite light and translucent, and there we go. And just take your time and just have a little fun with it. But the beauty of this is that you can actually mix these translucents as well. So you're going to get some beautiful colours coming through as well if you mix them. So don't think that if you've got a set of 3 or a set of 5 that those are just the colours that you have. Just make sure that you've got your primaries in there, your yellow, red and blue, and you're away to go then. And then you can actually start mixing them as well. But remember, just use really small amounts. You can always get more in the pot, but what you leave on your mat is not going to be able to put back. But I always use what's left on my mat. I scoop it up with some scraps of paper as well. That lovely fresh green colour, it's beautiful, and it goes lovely with that fresh orange colour as well. It just really brightens that up beautifully, and you can always go back in there. So see how much I've got left on my mat. There's loads there. Okay, so I think, and then what I've done on this one is I've actually stamped and I've actually clear embossed on this one, and all I've done to get that black line is I have literally just got my ink pad, I've taken my card and I've dipped it on. Just make sure that you don't get it all over your fingers. And I've put it on a foam pad, and I hold it with a foam pad, and then that can just go onto a nice piece of card. And obviously I've got this lovely sort of apricot orange colour. Let me just get rid of that. And then what I do is I sort of stand back and think, okay, can I do anything else to this? Or am I happy with it? But that's going to go in my journal, but it will easily make a really lovely card for a friend. And we have a lot to be thankful for these days, despite the fact that there's so much tragedy in the world. There we have a nice little journal page for you with some nice watercolour techniques. So let me just bring that up for you. Let me just have a close look. And if Alfie can bring the camera around to me, up to me, I will bring it really nice and close in. There we go. I just really love all those little stamps, those details. So it shouldn't be too frightening to make some flowers out of your circles. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Remember, just before you go, you've got 30 seconds before we actually go off. So quickly, if you haven't done it, comment and share, and you will go in the draw for a chance to win a £25 gift voucher for our website, indigoblue.com. And we will announce that on the Facebook as normal tomorrow evening, is it?
Well, tomorrow during the day.
Tomorrow during the day, some of the time. So yes, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next Monday at 4 o'clock with some more amazing goodies, and hopefully we'll get to have a chat, and you can ask more questions. So if you've got anything that you really want to ask, go ahead and maybe we can do your little demo as well for it.
Jayshree's just asked, can you answer a question?
Oh yes, of course, I can answer a question,
What's the
Jayshree.
difference between translucent and normal acrylic paints?
What's the difference between translucent and normal acrylic paints? Well, normal acrylic paints generally are opaque. Generally, when you see acrylic paints, they are opaque, which means you can't see through them. So they are like our opaque paints.
Matte.
So they are matte. Okay, let me just bring that in. So you can't actually see through it at all. You can't see, if you paint it, it covers everything that's underneath. Whereas the translucents, you can actually see the layers below, which is why I like it for journaling, because you can build up those layers. Of course, you can actually cover it if you want to with some normal matte or acrylic with that over the top to cover it, but I like the translucent so that you can build up that lovely, and you can do all those gorgeous watercolor effects as well, which I'm really enjoying. They are still all fabric paints as well, but generally speaking, when you're buying acrylic paints, they are opaque unless it actually says on the packet translucent. So that's the difference.
And Maureen's asked, do you ever use a water brush?
Do I ever use a water? Yes, I do. Look, got loads here. I do use water brushes. Why do I not use them when I'm painting, when I'm demonstrating? I don't know. It's just whatever's to hand basically, but yes, I do use water brushes and I do like them. I think they're really useful, and you can get different really, really nice fine tips on them as well. So yes, I do use them. Okay, that's it. So thank you all very, very much for joining us. Say goodbye, Alfie.
Bye.
Bye, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye.